How I knew for sure that being a creative was something I wanted to do for the rest of my life. That's what this video is going to be about. Before I continue to say that, I want to ask you if you've watched the 3 parts of how I quit college because they're all related to this. I didn't want to make it a 4-part video, so I kept the last part, the very last part, which is when I finished and went to this internship in Douala. And I was doing an internship as a journalist in a TV station where I actually did voiceovers in French and English. So if you haven't watched those videos yet, they're in the card and the description, and you can watch them because a lot of what I'm going to say now will be references to those videos in terms of decisions I made and just capturing all that. And what we're going to be picking up now is after I finished college, finished my 3rd trial degree, which is journalism, and actually completed that, and then I've moved to Douala, tried to get a position, was not able to, and finally got an internship in Canal International. And now, because I'm writing and sharing, I come in contact with my mentor, Alexander Quest, and this is where things get interesting. So if this is the first time that you're watching this video or watching me on the internet, my name is Kamga Tchassa and I'm a Cameroonian. I currently live in the US. And I'm many things, mostly a storyteller, and I'm enjoying the process of finding a way to build a life around the things that I want. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I really appreciate your time. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It means a lot to me that you click there, and turning on the notification bell will make sure that whenever I post a video, you're going to see that. So let's get into the video. Alexander Quest is one of the coolest people I've ever met. And I say cool, I mean, you know, way people are cool in movies, like characters are just cool, and you're like the guy's guy, like the kind of guy that you look at and you say, man, I wish I could walk like that guy. That's how Alex was. And we connected online because of a post that he wrote and tagged me on Facebook, and I didn't know he was reading my work. And that's one of the lessons that I learned. I left in part 3 of the video, which is document your journey. You never know who's watching. Alex and I connect, we talk, and something funny happened. He came to Cameroon and we met, and he was actually, at the time, I had no idea he was one of the co-founders of IYA. And a couple of years before that, I actually celebrated and participated in an event at IYA. That was the first time I was going to IYA Buea. It was an event by Visiter l'Afrique with Diano Dringaku. We were celebrating the 20th, I don't know what anniversary it was. I attended the anniversary. It was a really cool place. We had a meal, it was free. And I thought it was a really wonderful place. Fast forward a couple of years, I meet Alex, move there. And I'm like, bro, this place is so cool. Why don't people do this? We could do that, because Alex was able to talk to me about things that I never thought was possible, like James Altucher, like Srini Rao. My mind synced with ideas of what was possible in terms of poetry, in terms of culture, in terms of oration, and using a space to create an avenue for literature to thrive. And this was in Buea, an English-speaking community, but there were very few events that had to do with poetry. And that was around 2016, 2017. Remember, I've gone back to Buea because I didn't tell you the part where I quit. Yeah, I quit the internship, went back to Buea, told my parents I wasn't going to do it. They said, what are you going to do? I said, I want to go back and study, English. Yeah, I want to do the English major. Actually, I want to do African literature because that was the end I was trying to listen to my gut. But then there was no, that's a whole story. There was no, oh man, I don't know what to tell you this. The University of Buea accepted me to study African literature. But then when I showed up, and when we showed up, because it wasn't just me, they essentially told us the program no longer exists. You have to switch to a different program. What was the next best program? English language. And that's how I moved back to Buea from Douala. All this conversation happening with Alex is happening while I'm struggling to go to school. Having 7 a.m. classes, having a bulk of reading, and it's weird. It's like, 12 people in class. It's not that I'm hating it. It's more like I'm wondering what's the point. First, it's not what I wanted to study. Second, I'm back to making the same mistakes that I made a couple of years back. And third, I feel like these people are wasting my time. That's how I felt during that period. And so when I met Alex and I talked with Alex about the space and all that, there's a question that actually I asked Alex, which I always talk about this particular part, like one of those moments where a light bulb broke. I asked Alex, there's no poetry event in Buea. There's somebody talking about poetry, doing spoken word poetry. I would like to do that. I'd watched the TED Talk by Sarah K, which blew my mind about the possibility of spoken word poetry. He tells me, here's a space. Why don't you do it here? You have 1 week. Alex gave me 1 week to organize a poetry event. I'd never used Eventbrite before that time. Figured it out. Invited people. I performed a poem with Olimpasi. Before that first event at IYA, I can comfortably tell you I never knew my capacity to stand in front of a crowd and say anything and actually lead the crowd. Back in high school, I had spoken in front of the Teachers Association. In primary school, I'd made the poem, but I had never had the chance to stand in front of a stage and lead that stage. I had never seen it done in front of me. Alex did that. Alex showed me what was possible. He showed me how to actually get it done. I learned from watching him, from seeing how it's done, and from learning to breathe in the crowd. If I had never actually quit the internship in Douala and gone back to Buea and disappointed my parents again and quit English studies in Buea and gone back to IYA and started working there, I would never have known what was possible. So when I title this video, How to Know What You Want to Do with Your Life, or whatever title I'm going to put has to do with passion, you know what I'm saying is, if you never take a chance on yourself, listen to your mentors, or take action, you would never ever have that feeling of something that feels right. I was hooked on the stage from the moment we had the first IYA Griot Night, and you could feel it. Till this day, there are people who came to the place just for me because I actually really enjoyed it. And when you enjoy doing something, people cannot help but be attracted to you. And it doesn't matter what it is. If you enjoy drawing and you're really passionate about it, people would feel it. I enjoyed standing on stage. And that's one of the things that I realized when it comes to the camera, that I actually have a problem. People have a problem staring into the lens of the camera and doing things. I have crossed eyes, and you cannot, maybe you've noticed it, maybe not, but it doesn't stop me from actually enjoying talking by myself in a room for as long as I need to. That first event, that push from Alex, that stage at IYA, the people I met there, eventually working there and actually quitting to move to Douala. That time of my life was when I discovered my actual power to stand in front of a stage and actually do something for somebody who I looked up to and said, that guy is cool. For that same person to tell me, listen, I can see this in you and you have this in you. We should never, ever underestimate the power of having someone tell us and encourage us to follow our dreams. Till this day, no matter what the relationship with Alex and I have had, or me quitting my job, or how things turned out eventually, till this day, I am completely and eternally grateful to Alex, to Ranks, to Judd, and the people I met there for giving me a chance to shine and to actually go and take chances. And I must say, I wasn't the best employee at many levels, but I also know that I did a very good job when I had to. And for all of that, I'm eternally grateful. The episode of IYA, packed up with part 1, 2, and 3, all these events led me to putting myself in a position where I could actually try out my skills. Between the first IYA Griot Night and the last one, where I could actually know what to wear, know how to stand, how to smile, how to talk to people, how to engage, I actually learned how to tell the story of IYA to guests. I basically became somebody else by watching Alex and learning from him, and him putting his hand on my back, telling me, hey, you can do this. That was an amazing vote of confidence. And throughout the years and after some time, I realized that sometimes you don't need that vote of confidence. But sometimes that may be the only thing that you need to get in front of stage. Not all of us have Alexes in their lives. Not all of us have Judd. Not all of us have people like my spouse to encourage me, my parents to actually guide me through things. And if you're looking for something to do with your life, something that you're passionate about, to know whether, is this really what I want to do? What I would say is take chances. Take action. Do something many times consistently enough for you to see, or for somebody else, some other Alex or Judd, to look at you and say, listen, I can see this in you. You have this capacity. You may never have them walk up to you and say it, but let me tell you, you have something in you. You have the capacity to do amazing things. You might not be the next Elon Musk or Steve Jobs or whichever folk hero the universe and the social media decided to put up this weekend, but you are capable of so much more than you give yourself credit for. I know, because my story has been me trying to get my parents to approve of me, my mentors to approve of me, my friends, my spouses to approve of me. As time goes by, I realize that the only person who needs to approve of me is me. And maybe the only person who needs to approve of you is you. So give yourself the approval that you need. Start something today, and you never know what stage you'll be thriving on soon. So my friend, I'm going to leave you on this note. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I really appreciate it. I know I've said a bunch of things that I haven't completed yet, and maybe we'll talk about those stories, maybe not. But I want you to know that I really appreciate your time watching this, and I'm looking forward to seeing you again. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. Hit that like button as well if you like the video, and leave a comment for me to know what's going on in your life. And also subscribe. I mean, there's so many buttons already, but just share this video if you like it. Just let me know down there, all right? My name is Kamga Tchassa. I'm a creative, and I'm fighting for my freedom, one video at a time. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.